The greatest lie you were ever sold wasn't about the economy, and it wasn't about your history. They told you that your imagination is just a playground. They told you it is simply the place where you go to daydream, or escape, or pretend when the real world gets too heavy. They stripped it of its power, painted it like a child's toy, and left you completely blind to the absolute, undeniable fact that you are walking around with a loaded gun. Look at what you do when the house is dead quiet. You stare at the ceiling, and your mind goes to war. You picture your bank account hitting zero. You watch your business fail in your head. You write an entire script where people betray you, where the market crashes, where everything you have built completely falls apart, and you physically feel the suffocating weight of a future that hasn't even happened yet. Society looks at that and calls it stress. They tell you it's just a natural reaction to a hard world. They tell you everybody worries. Worrying is not a reaction. Worrying is the most intense, highly focused form of creation on the face of this earth. When you lie awake and visualize your own destruction, you are not just thinking. You are holding the steering wheel. You are drafting the blueprint, handing it to the universe, and commanding it to build your physical prison. You have to understand the absolute mechanics of what is happening inside your mind and your body in that exact moment. Your subconscious mind, the massive engine that actually builds your reality, is entirely blind to the outside world. It does not have eyes, it does not look at your bank account, and it does not read the news. It only sees the pictures that your imagination feeds it. If you hold a core belief based in fear, your imagination does not argue with you. It goes to work immediately. It acts like a high-end architect, pulling from every insecurity you have ever felt, painting hyper-realistic pictures of your downfall to prove your fear right. It will construct scenarios so vivid, so terrifying, that your biological nervous system actually believes you are under physical attack. Your brain floods your body with cortisol. Your chest tightens. You are poisoning your own biology with a phantom. You are generating the threat, and then you are shrinking away from the very monster you just built. Your imagination is not a toy. It is the most lethal weapon mankind has ever possessed. And right now, you have it pointed directly at your own head. If you want absolute, historical proof of what happens when you point this weapon in the right direction, you do not have to look at mystics or philosophers. You look at the men who built the physical architecture of the modern world. Look at the man who invented the alternating current that is powering the very device you are listening to me on right now. Nikola Tesla did not build his greatest inventions in a laboratory. He did not operate through trial and error. He built his empire entirely in the dark, inside the theater of his own mind. Tesla didn't just sketch ideas on a flat piece of paper. He would construct a massive electrical turbine in his imagination. He would mentally assemble the heavy steel, attach the wires, and turn the machine on in his head. He would let that imaginary machine run for weeks while he went about his daily life. When he finally decided to stop the machine in his mind, he would mentally take it apart and examine the imaginary metal for wear and tear. He noted where the friction was too high. He fixed the flaws in his mind. And when he finally walked into a physical laboratory to build it with his hands, it worked perfectly on the very first try. Tesla understood the absolute law of this reality. Physical matter is just the delayed shadow of an internal blueprint. He didn't wait for the world to give him the resources to build. He built the reality internally with such dense, heavy conviction that the physical world had no choice but to manifest his design. To disarm the weapon of fear and begin building like a sovereign architect, we have to look at the exact foundation you are standing on right now. We have to look at the ghosts you are keeping alive. Most people are using their imagination to survive a reality they think they are permanently trapped in. They think they are victims of their own history. They look at the fact that they failed 5 years ago, or they look at the poverty they came from, or the mistakes they made, and they treat their past like a physical life sentence. But what is a memory? A memory is just your imagination pointed in reverse. When you sit around remembering your failures, you are taking the lethal weapon of your imagination and firing it backward. You drag the corpse of your history into the present moment, and you use your imagination to project that exact same failure into your future. You are demanding that tomorrow looks exactly like yesterday. I need you to hear me clearly on this. The past is completely dead. It has no life, it has no breath, and it has no authority over your current trajectory. The only reason your past still hurts you is because you keep performing CPR on it in this exact moment. You are using the weapon of your imagination to keep a ghost alive, because the ghost is familiar, and the human mind would rather sit in familiar pain than step into unfamiliar power. You are not the delayed echo of your trauma. You are not the sum total of the mistakes you made when you were operating on a lower frequency. The present moment is the absolute point of power. The second you change your conviction right now, the second you refuse to authorize the old story, you literally sever the chains. You rewrite the code of your entire existence. You are not a victim of what happened to you. You are the undisputed ruler of what happens next. But the system does not want you to know that. The physical grid is designed to keep you small because small people are incredibly easy to control. Society trains you to worship your physical shell and your physical limitations. They tell you that you are just a fragile biological accident trying to survive in a harsh economy. They want you to believe that your biology is your boss. They want you to look in the mirror and only see the struggle, the fatigue, and the debt. They feed you a constant diet of crisis, panic, and outrage through your screens, because if they can keep you in a state of biological survival, they know you will never use your imagination to build a way out. If your bandwidth is consumed by fear, you have no bandwidth left for sovereignty. You are not the fragile body. You are the heavyweight force driving the vehicle. You are a massive, infinite creator, packed tightly into a biological suit. The suffering only starts when you forget who is actually sitting behind your eyes. When you believe you are just a physical creature fighting against the elements, you shrink down. You lower your head. You accept the crumbs the system throws at you. But when you remember your true credentials, the game completely shifts. The physical world stops looking like a threat, and it starts looking like wet clay waiting for your command. The economy, the social structures, the limitations, they are all just localized renderings. They are temporary illusions that must eventually bow to a strong enough frequency. You do not have to fight the external world. You have to conquer the internal projection. So, how do you actually execute this? How do you take the weapon back and stop your imagination from burning your own house down? This is not about wishful thinking. This is not about forcing a fake smile and pretending everything is fine. That is toxic positivity, and your subconscious mind will reject it immediately. This is about a daily, mechanical, ruthless practice of mental authority. You do it by firing your imagination from the anxiety department. Here is your sovereign directive. The next time you catch your mind spiraling, the next time you feel that heavy panic building in your chest as you picture your business failing or your life falling apart, you must stop dead in your tracks. Do not take another step. You must recognize exactly what is happening. You are watching an unauthorized broadcast. Step 1 is the pattern interrupt. You do not negotiate with the fear. You do not try to softly reason with it, because fear feeds on your attention. You step in like the absolute authority of your own mind, and you mentally rip the plug out of the wall. You verbally say it out loud if you have to. I do not authorize this projection. I am returning this to sender. Step 2 is the overwrite. The universe abhors a vacuum. If you just try to stop thinking negative thoughts, the fear will rush right back in. You have to replace it with a heavier frequency. You take that exact same hyper-focused, creative energy that you were using to build your nightmare, and you force it to build the opposing structure. You do not just think about it, you step into it. You force your imagination to visualize absolute wealth, You force it to picture unshakable peace. You close your eyes and you physically feel what it is like to hold the keys to that new reality. You feel the weight of the steering wheel. You feel the handshake of the closed deal. You force your mind to see you walking into the room with so much authority that the atmosphere completely changes the second you cross the threshold. You must discipline your mind to hold the vision of your empire with the exact same intensity that you used to hold the vision of your ruin. If you can spend 3 hours obsessing over how everything might go wrong, you have the exact stamina required to spend 3 hours building the architecture of how everything goes right. It is the exact same muscle. You are just turning the dial in the opposite direction. Because here is the cold, hard truth. The universe does not care which blueprint you hand it. The grid is entirely neutral. It is a mathematical algorithm. It does not judge you. It will build your prison or it will build your palace. It simply takes the strongest, most dominant conviction you hold and it manifests it into physical matter. It matches your frequency every single time, without exception. Your imagination is not a toy. It is the architect of your physical reality. Stop weaponizing your own mind against your future. Stop doing the enemy's job for them. You have suffered enough from the things that never even happened. Unload the fear, take back the wheel, and start building the empire you actually deserve. This broadcast is complete. I will see you in the next one.
Stop using your mind to build your own nightmare. You must assume the feeling of the victory.
Authorizing architect access. The signal is valid.